This is Kathy from GadgetStop321, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the Monteverde Ritma pocket neck pen. I've always been kind of enamored with pocket pens. I've got a number of them, but ever since I picked up my Kaweco AL Sport, the Golden Espresso, I haven't really been looking for any other pocket pens. This is my go-to pocket pen. But what drew me to this one was that it comes with two removable finials. The finial that comes on the pen is just a plain flat top finial, but it also comes with a finial that has a lanyard attached. And that kind of interested me because I don't always have a pocket that I can put a pen in. And I've seen vintage pens that have ring tops on them. That was a popular thing in the past, and I've always been kind of interested in that. Thought that was kind of a neat feature. The finials are metal, but they feel pretty lightweight, like it's anodized aluminum, and the finish just has the slightest bit of texture to it. You can feel that it's matte. Looks really nice. It's an olive green. This is a special edition color, and the barrel also has that slight texture to it, but it's hard to find much information on the materials that this pen is made out of. Most of the information I've found is about the full-size Ritma, and I tend to think that they may be made out of different materials. This feels heavier than my AL Sport. I'm thinking that this might be brass. Now, I've watched a couple different videos. One video said it was brass barrel and one said that it was stainless steel, so I just don't know. But the cap and the other end of the pen are a shiny kind of gunmetal silver color. This pop is part of the marketing of the pen. It has a magnetic cap, and just the air tightness of it does cause it to pop when you uncap it. I think they're just trying to make the best of possibly an undesirable feature, but you can uncap it without making it pop. The magnet feels pretty strong. I like the satisfying snick you hear there. It feels like it's attached really securely, and that's good if you're going to be wearing it around your neck. The lanyard, I thought was going to be a woven material, but it's a rubber lanyard, and it has a spring-loaded little clasp, but the lanyard is long enough that I've never had to use the clasp. It's long enough that it's able to just fit over my head. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my writing sample because I've had issues with the nib drying out. I mean, it would dry out sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes just sitting on my desk, I would go pick it up to use it and it would be dried out. And I discovered that my finial up here had worked its way loose, and I think that was the issue that was causing it to dry out, just sitting horizontal. But I'm still having issues with it drying out if I wear it around my neck for a lengthy amount of time if I don't write with it. And I'll talk about that a little more later. But I'm going to go ahead and do a writing sample with it before I start uncapping it and talking about the internals, because it does dry out really quickly. Now, one of the things I mentioned in the unboxing is that I like the weight of the pen with it posted. Unfortunately, if you're wearing it around your neck, posting it may be an issue. Oh, look at that. It's already dried out. Okay. This pen dries out so quickly, and one of the things I was going to mention is if you're using it for quick notes off and on, if you're in a meeting, cap it, you know, if you're not going to be writing for even the shortest amount of time. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, You see, I didn't have the cap off very much at all as I was doing this first introductory part of the review, and I was able to get it going just by writing a little bit. But if you have the cap off maybe a minute, it will dry up so badly that you'll have to either prime the feed quite a bit, or usually if I'm here at the house, I'll run some water over it in the tap, just over the tip. And that gets kind of frustrating. I've used this ink, Sailor Tokiwa Matsu. I've used it in other pens and I've never had this issue, but maybe I'll try another wetter ink and see if I still have that issue. But let's go ahead and do the writing sample because I do like the way this nib writes. Oh, let me zoom in. I've got to do this quickly before it dries out again. Oh, see, it doesn't take long at all for it to dry out. This is what appears to be a number 5 Omniflex. And I don't do flex writing. You are able to get some line variation from this. You have to press pretty hard, and the thing is, you have to press with so much force that depending on the kind of paper you use, your nib is digging into the paper, and when you tear those paper fibers, you may get some feathering. So I'm perfectly happy just using this as a normal nib. I feel like I'm feeling, I wouldn't say it's a nail. Like my Pilot Steel nibs, they're really rigid, but I don't know if it's just all psychological that I feel like I can feel a little bounce in this nib. It does not feel as soft as my Pilot Gold nibs. My Pilot 14 karat gold nibs definitely have a softer feel, a little more bounce to them than this nib. But I like the way it feels on paper. I like the wetness. I like the amount of ink that it puts down. The size of the nib is not labeled, but I would call this a medium fine when I compare it to my other nibs. And the reverse writing, I would call that an extra fine, and it's not super smooth, but I wouldn't call it unpleasant in a pinch. It's nice to have this variation here. It came with the little Monteverde mini converter, and like I've mentioned, I've been out in public a few times where my pen was dried up and wouldn't write and I had to prime the converter. That kind of makes me nervous because I don't want my pen to start burping ink. Look at that. Just that amount of time not writing, it dries out. That's a little bit frustrating. All right. Now that I'm done with the writing sample, I'm going to compare this to my Kaweco Sport. Let's see, it looks like it's 1/2 centimeter longer than the Kaweco Sport when capped, and when posted, they are almost exactly the same length. The Omniflex nib is a hair longer than the Kaweco nib. They are just really close in length. And unposted, I can use either of these pens unposted, but I have small hands, so And unposted, oh, that's surprising, they are the same length. I know it's going to be dried out. Let's see if I can get it to write. Okay, so you see how long it takes for it to dry out. Now, I mentioned that I'm still having issues with it drying out when I wear it around my neck. Usually at about an hour, it will dry out like this. Just a little bit of scribbling will get it back to writing. I'm going to leave it on my desk up to simulate me wearing it around my neck. I'm going to leave it like this for about an hour and a half. I'll set a timer on my phone and come back and we'll see if it writes. Okay, it's been an hour and a half and the Ritma's been setting vertically to simulate wearing it around my neck. And let's see if it writes. And that time it basically started right up. There was a minor hard start there. It's got me baffled because there have been times that I scribbled with it. Oh, hold on. Well, there have been times that I did a little scribble before I left the house to make sure that it wasn't dried out. Drove about 5 minutes down the road to a meeting and went to write with it, and it was dried up so dry that I couldn't get it to write. I don't know. For this to be an everyday carry pen like it's designed to be, it really needs to be more reliable. I think this may possibly make a good pocket pen, but I already have a nice reliable pocket pen. This one's not going to replace it. Wearing it on the lanyard just is not reliable enough. I will probably be putting this Finial back on it and using it as a desk pen. Now, I wish it had a clip. Not necessarily that I need to clip it on anything, but just to use as a roll stop. And I guess if it did have a clip, I could clip it in a notebook or a planner or something that would leave it laying horizontally on a desk or something that would keep the nib from drying out. Oh, I really want to like this pen. It really just feels so good in the hand, and I was lucky and got a good nib. I guess that's all I have to say about it. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.